Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are talking about the Tier 7 Premium Commonwealth Battleship Yukon. Well, actually, not too much about the Yukon, but rather the story behind the Yukon. That's a story that a lot of you guys brought to my attention on the Friday night live stream, shortly after I got my Yukon review already recorded, edited, and uploaded to the channel and scheduled to upload on last Saturday. And it is a story of, well, it's a story that highlights a major issue that Wargaming has, and they apparently haven't fixed this issue. And this time, rather than causing a bit of a hiccup in either the release of a premium ship, maybe a premium ship came out and doesn't perform just as some players expected, major amounts of time were wasted by two people in particular, two very hardworking people in particular, and that is none other than Little White Mouse and Chobi, her artist. So this is a train wreck of a series of events for Wargaming, at least. And we're going to go through what happened, and we are going to go over Wargamings Response. They have responded not that long ago as of me recording this. And I'm just going to tell you guys a quick summary of what happened. I'll give you guys my opinion on what I think about it, and some suggestions as to what could potentially be done to right this situation, if any can fully right it. But anyway, again, please go check out Little White Mouse's full forum post. If you don't know who she is a fantastic CC. She does forum reviews for just about every premium ship that gets released. They are some of the most in-depth reviews you can find on ships in this game. She leaves nothing out. She has fantastic artwork, thanks to Chobi, fantastic graphics, fantastic charts, fantastic everything, examining what said ship is and comparing it to other ships in said tier or said class or whatever. Nothing's left unturned in her review, so please go check her out. And again, the link to this review will be in the description down below, where she and Chobi explain exactly what happened to their work. So basically what happened was, way back in February of 2020, both of them were approached by Wargaming North America, and they were offered the chance to design a ship for Canada Day 2020. If you can't catch that, they're both Canadian. So that's a great opportunity. You know, if Wargaming came to me and said, "Hey, Mountbatten, would you want to design a battleship or a premium ship for 4th of July 2022?" I'd be like, "Heck yeah, I would." So one of the best opportunities anybody involved with wood warships can get, besides maybe having yourself put in the game as a commander a la Jingles. But anyway, so 2020, February 2020. That's really close to Canada Day 2020. So they immediately got to work. And obviously with such a short window, they couldn't get a ship modeled from scratch. I mean, the ship models in game, as I point out in my reviews, they are stellar. Art department does a fantastic job, but obviously that takes time. It takes a lot of time. I forgot exactly how many man hours goes into modeling a ship. Wargaming did put out a video explaining their modeling process. It's very, very, very in-depth. So it takes a lot of time in the story there. So they had to go for a clone. None of the British cruisers in game look like Canadian cruisers that existed during World War II, and Canada didn't have any battleships. So they had to go with a fictional battleship, and they chose to take the Monarch, a ship that is, in the eyes of many, not a fantastic ship, and they were going to tweak it and make their own camouflage, crest, and everything for the ship. So they chose the Monarch, and they originally chose the name Acadia, but then they changed that to Nunavik. They're both fictional ships. You know, the name Nunavik has been used before, and they chose Nunavik as a tribute to the northern people of Canada. Cool name, I like it. And they came up with designs for everything from a special type of camouflage, a special crest, this, that, and the other. So they were sending all this to Wargaming, and they were getting some feedback, and one of the first bits of feedback is that they didn't like the name Nunavik, and they said, and this one was really funny too, especially being a geography teacher, they said that Nunavik wasn't a large enough territory in Canada to warrant having a ship named after it. But then they went and chose Yukon, which the Yukon territory is not that much bigger than the Nunavik territory. it's I think like 40,000. They pointed out in their post. It's like 40,000 kilometers squared kilometers smaller than Nunavik. I mean, both territories are giant. So I mean, it's kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, being a geography teacher, that one was kind of funny. So now it's named Yukon. Okay. So the initial design that they came up with for the Nunavik, now named the Yukon, was that it was going to be a glass cannon that was sneaky. I think they said they were working with the idea of having an exhaust smoke in it, a ship that can sneak up, just blast the crap out of your ship, then disappear. But if it got caught, it was going to be in a hard place. Which the armor layout on the Yukon is very much that in game, except it doesn't have the super heal. Their Yukon didn't. And they said they wanted weaker HE, and they were, again, the 15-inch guns at Tier 7. So, again, a lot of firepower at Tier 7 with 9 15-inch guns, weaker HE. They were filling with the idea of an exhaust smoke, and that's what they were coming up with. So, as time goes on, they continue to work and work and work on the ship. Chobi's making artwork for the ship, working on the crest, working on the nameplate for the ship, this, that, and the other, coming up with the camouflage for it, and everything. And they even made a camouflage that paid tribute to the Canadian cruisers of World War II, and they have a picture of it, and I'll show you guys right here. And that's a very clean-looking camouflage. I very much like that. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner some of the other details that they worked on as well. So, long story short, they send all this to Wargaming. They've been sending all this to Wargaming for over a year, and then finally, Yukon gets announced, and when they see this, it's not the ship that they designed at all. They don't use their camo. They don't use any of the assets they made for it. The name badge got replaced from the nice wooden nice wooden panel with the gold names on it to just being stamped on the back like it is in game right now. And it's nothing like what they designed. So, being that they worked very hard on this for well over a year, Little White Mouse writes her review for the Yukon, and out of being a good person, she lets Wargaming know, hey, look, me and Chobi worked on the ship for well over a year. You guys clearly didn't take our work seriously, and I wrote this review. And Wargaming's like, what? So it turns out Wargaming didn't know that Little White Mouse and Chobi were working on the Yukon like this. According to Wargaming, they weren't asked to design the ship. And this just got clarified shortly before the Yukon got released. And according to Little White Mouse and Chobi, their conversation with Wargaming North America, the vibe that they were getting was that they were asked to design the ship. But according to Wargaming themselves, they were not. So, that's a bit of a head-scratcher right there, isn't it? Wargaming NA approaches them, asks them to help them design a ship. They work on it for a year. Some things make it in, like the name kind of makes it in, although it's not the name that they chose. The maple leaf from the smokestack makes it in, although that's just a thing that Canadian ships have. The badge that we got in game, kinda like the one that Chobi designed. The flag absolutely is not like the flag that Chobi designed. Chobi designed a beautiful looking flag for the Yukon, and that didn't make it in. But yeah, so here we are, a little over a year later. Nothing that they've really worked on has made it into the final ship. The concept's not really along the same lines besides the ship being stealthy. The ship's more of just a punching bag than anything that we got in game. And it apparently, Wargaming's explanation for this is that there was a communication error. So go figure. A communication error led to Little White Mouse and Chobi spending over a year working very hard on a premium ship that none of their work made it in game. And keep in mind too, they didn't get paid for this. It's all just them working out of just, like kind of like a labor of love thing. None of this was paid for, of course. So, what's fun to point out too here is that this review that Little White Mouse wrote is actually the watered down version. Because before this, she thought that Wargaming was intentionally just taking their work and throwing it out the window. But after it got clarified that it was a miscommunication error, she rewrote the review. So, yeah, what's Wargaming got to say about this? Let's go check that out. So this was posted when I grabbed this screenshot not even 10 minutes ago. So this is from Evan, who is one of the developers. I believe he works for Wargaming, and yeah, Evan and A. I don't know everybody on the forums. I don't really go there that much, so forgive me. So he says, still, dear at Little White Mouse and at Chobi, dear community, with the investigation of this situation still ongoing, one thing is clear. We, to put it mildly, messed up. Please accept my sincerest apologies for how the NA team, my team, mishandled the communications around this project. We promised things that were not ours to promise in the first place, and failed to properly communicate about them with the rest of the team, both here in NA and globally. We created expectations, failed to deliver on them, and then, after a change of staff responsible for this project, walked all over them nonchalantly. We let you down, and yet again betrayed what trust you put in us. I am aware how hard it will be to rebuild and regain that trust, but we will do our best to become the partners we need to be for you. We will need more time to finish reviewing all communications relevant to this case, and we'll issue a final statement once this is done. Please bear with us until then. Best regards, Evan, Regional Publishing Director, Warships, North America. So, yeah. Well, they admitted they screwed up, which is... doesn't always happen with Wargaming. It happens from time to time, but normally only when it's a really big screw-up do they come outright and say, hey, we screwed up, and this is a screw-up of enormous proportions. So, evidently, it was a communication issue, a miscommunication, or somebody in Wargaming NA didn't talk to somebody else in Wargaming NA who didn't talk to somebody in Wargaming Global. So, yeah. Lo and behold, another miscommunication and communication issue caused Little White Mouse and Chobi to work for over a year, very hard, very fantastic work too, on a ship that barely anything that they worked on made it into game. Maybe the idea of some of the designs and like the name made it in, even though they didn't choose Yukon, they said, all right, that's fine. But apparently they were supposed to be working on more of a collaborative, I don't think collaborative is even the right word, because you're actually doing something. More of like a consultation type of role, where they were supposed to like be speaking for all Canadian players, rather than directly designing the ship, which Little White Mouse said if we would have known that, that's fine. We would have set our expectations appropriately and worked in that capacity, rather than working hard on designing a ship. Now, they did get to choose the class at least, so that kind of made it into game, but that's about it after that. I can't imagine working on something for over a year and then under the idea that you are directly getting to make a ship that will make it into game, and then just having that thrown out the window and it not really being worth anything in the first place, because apparently that's not what I was supposed to even be doing. And I mean, just like the artwork, designing the ship camouflage, that all takes a tremendous amount of time. It's not like you just, open up Microsoft Paint and then have at it. It takes time to design it, make a couple of prototypes, and then get going on it. I mean, like, I'm working on just a model, as you guys who saw yesterday's video saw. And, that takes weeks to do. And I would hate if something happened to this model, like house got broken into, house caught on fire, and it just went up in flames, and I just lost all the work that I've been working on this model for just the past couple of weeks on, let alone working on something like this for over a year, and having all of that work just tossed out the window. I would be livid. So I'm truly sorry that this happened to you, Little White Mouse and Chobi. This is just disastrous, and I hope they come around and make this up. Now, how could they make this up to not only Little White Mouse and Chobi, but to players that were looking forward to this? There's like one or two options. Option one, all the work's done. Why not introduce the Nunavik and let them keep the name? Let them keep the name. Let them keep the camouflage. They've done all the work for you. So why not just get around to putting it together and putting it in game? And offering players the opportunity to swap the Yukon for the Nunavik. Then you got a Yukon in game. Then you got a Nunavik. You got 2 Commonwealth battleships in game now. It's another premium you can add in. So it's a win for Wargaming either way if they take that route. Other than that, I don't really know how they could make it up. I mean, when you work on something hard, thinking it's going to be in game, the best way to make it up to that person is to put it in game. So that would be the ideal situation in my mind. They may come up with something. They're normally very good at coming up with some type of solution in their minds and letting it go with it, like with the Groningen. People were very upset that that the Groningen was coming out and the Friesland was being, not really replaced by it, but the Friesland was staying in the Pan-Euro tech tree and the Groningen was going to the Dutch tech tree, and people were very upset because they wanted the Friesland to go into the Netherlands tech tree. Then they came up with a solution of, well, you can trade your Friesland for the Groningen in 10.7, so you can have your Friesland in the Dutch tech tree, but it's just going to be called the Groningen instead. Again, I don't know what they could do in the situation besides just adding the Nunavik in, the ship that Little White Mouse and Chobi designed. I think that would be the best case scenario. Again, all the work's done for them. It would seem to be a pretty simple solution in my mind, at least. But again, a lot of work was poured into this. Please go check out Little White Mouse's Yukon review and scroll down to the bottom if you want to see the story. Well, actually read all the review because it's quite entertaining to read the I don't know if, I guess this is passive aggressiveness or just straight out aggressiveness and Little White Mouse's review, but yeah, it's a spicy review. So if you want to read some good old spice, go check it out. Again, link to that will be in the description down below. But again, guys, if you're wondering about the Yukon, don't buy it. It's a terrible ship. Some people are enjoying it, and good on you, but I mean, it's got the range of a tier 3, actually less range than tier 3 battleships. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Again, please go check out Little White Mouse's article. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.